Hello guys. So today's video, one that I get a lot of comments about on my videos, when are you going to do this video? Well, here it is, the long awaited diesel pump fuel screw video. Alright, so here is my 4M40 2.8 litre turbo diesel Mitsubishi engine, same as what's in Triton and Delica. This video is also same for non-common rail 4D56, so the 2.5. So basically what we need to do is access the fuel pump, which is in there. So first job is take the intercooler off. 2 screws up there, 2 screws down there. There's usually a little bracket that sits on there. I'm guessing mine's just swinging down at the back because I've never fastened it up. And also a couple of multi-plugs here to get the intercooler off. Oh, and of course the hoses to be removed. 1 and 2. Alright, so bolts are out, the plugs are disconnected. I find it easiest to take the back hose off from the inlet manifold and the front hose off from the intercooler itself, leaving it on the turbo. So now I'm just going to lift this off and we'll be able to see the fuel pump. Alright, now the intercooler's off, we can access our fuel pump, and the main adjustment screw, it's a little bit tricky to get to, but it's that one right there. So we need to crack the lock nut off, and then we're going to turn that screw 1/4 of a turn. If you turn it more, you can have dramas. You may need to turn it more, but start with 1/4, and then if that's not enough, go another 1/4, but I won't go any more than that. Otherwise you're going to be pluming black smoke and running your engine incredibly hot. So I'm going to crack the nut and do it 1/4 of a turn. Actually, before you do crack the nut, what you might find is when you undo that nut, it might move the actual adjustment screw. So just take a reference of the position it's at before you start, and then aim to have that reference point plus 90 degrees when you finish up. So you can't really get a spanner in there, so I've got a deep 14mm socket and a ratchet. So I think what I'm going to have to do is crack this off with the ratchet, turn the fuel screw, nip it back up with the ratchet, and hope that I've managed to get 1/4 of a turn. Might be a bit of trial and error, so we'll have to see how we go. It's tight. Alright, that was pretty tight. And the fuel screw has turned with the nut. So I'm going to turn that and hope I can get it in the right spot. Alright, I don't remember access being this tricky when I did it to my 2.5 4D56. So I'm guessing it might be slightly different on the 4M40. But to get in and adjust it, I've had to come through the back here with a screwdriver in order to get on the end. Still a bit tricky, but I just can't quite get it. So, very fiddly. See if I can come in from the top here. Doesn't help when your car's got a big lift on it as well and you're only 5'7", so I'm struggling here. Alright, there we go. So turning that. That's actually starting to get tight now because I think the nut is turning as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can see the nut's turning. So it's hard to film this and do two-handed jobs. So I'm going to put the phone down. I'm going to hold the screwdriver. I'm going to try wind the nut back by hand and then wind this in, if that makes sense. Alright, so I've got it and I've nipped it up. Now it's probably more than 1/4 of a turn, but less than half. I'm going to risk that and see how it goes. I have a boost gauge and an EGT gauge, so worst case scenario, if I find it's blowing too much black smoke and the EGTs are pretty high, I'll just wind that back off a bit. But that's it basically. Very simple job. just a little bit tricky for access. Give it a go, see how you go. Just one last thing I forgot to mention. Now that you've added more fuel, you might find that it bumps the idle up a bit. If you find the idle speed's too high, this one here is the idle screw. So you just crack the lock nut off, wind this nut out a little bit to reduce the idle speed, and then just lock it back up again. Simple as that.